Autori se izvinjavaju svima koji misle da je ovaj film suviše svirep.
Hi Omid, thanks for joining me today. Welcome to the new episode of Šaraj se Majmune. So we have Omid here with us. And Omid, first question that I want to ask you is something that you and I have talked about, but I think it's quite interesting. So can you tell me, just a second, can you tell me how hard it is for kids in Iran to buy some alcohol, and how they do that, what kind of alcohol do they get, these sort of things?
Okay, first of all, I want to say hey to you and the viewers, of course, and thank you for having me. For this question, it's funny, but it is true. As you know, that in Iran, alcohol is banned, in any circumstances. You cannot drink, you cannot have it. But it's what is in law. But if you come here and see the youngsters and kids, you can definitely see that it's not true, that they drink a lot, like maybe more than countries like European countries and countries like USA, I don't know. But it is available here, but not legal. But how to get it? Mostly it is illegally, imported to Iran. It is obvious, but it's not obvious that who has alcohol in Iran. Like, you have to know some connections or know some people to get it. But personally, I know, like 4 guys in this neighborhood that they sell drugs, they have alcohol, and the quality of alcohol, I have to say, you cannot find any original brands like vodka, whiskey, I don't know, like that. But you can find it, but maybe 4 times or 5 times more expensive. And the most common type of alcohol that they use is, fruit alcohol. They made it's homemade, It's homemade. They get it from fruits like banana, orange, I don't know, like lemons, dates, and they put it, I don't know how it's made, but they made it just homemade, mostly.
Yes.
That's the way they use it.
So it's not, as far as quality, that's not really good, but in general, it's easy to get. Yeah. It's easy to find alcohol, and you said a lot of young people are drinking, actually.
Yes, that is true. Maybe, some people, of course, depends on the person. Some, they don't alcohol, not because of the Islamic rules, or I don't know, the country rules, but they just don't drink. But the ones who drink, they easily can access to alcohol whenever they want, with cheap prices, even like $2 per liter. I don't know if we want to say the price.
Yes, so let's go to the next question.
Okay.
So Western media are presenting Iran like the worst country in the world, and a lot of people from Europe or US, when they think of Iran, they think of like bunch of terrorists or something like that. So can you tell me, how would you explain to people in Europe or US that it's safe to visit Iran?
Okay, first of all, I have to say that personally I have seen, such images and pictures they are, painting for Iran. And I think I have to say that media is not showing the real Iran, not even in America or either in Iran. In Iran, they say we are the best, we have everything, but that is the opposite of exactly what they say in US countries or Europeans. That they think of Iran as a third world country, that they still I don't know, maybe there's not technology in there, and there's a war going here. But I have to say that is completely false, and that is something media says. But if you actually look in internet through the people who actually have visited Iran. If you see that there is no such thing, like there is no safety, there is no culture, I don't know, it's hard to get there, there is, I don't know, some terrorist activities in there, but it is, I'm telling you, absolutely false, because if you actually go to look the videos or the I don't know, information that people who have visited Iran, you see that they feel like it's in here, they can access to anything, that Iranian people are so let's say so happy to see them. And also let me tell you this way, how can they be sure that it is safe here? First option is to ask and go visit the people that have seen Iran and ask them how it was. But to my experience that I live in here, I think that how am I supposed to tell this? I think that for people to, when they come here, they don't know that Iran has very strict laws and rules about in society. They don't know that. They think it's just because it's, as I said, it's like a war here and there is just chaos here. But this police is very, very strict here, especially when tourists come here. They consider the safety points, and they know that how to let's say how to assure people that they will be safe, because local police, like disciplinary police here, are very strict, and local people know that, they cannot hurt tourists. If they do, they will get a big punishment. If you study the laws, it is stated that especially women, if we hurt women here, we will be punished, and also we will get something like they say it's a harassment also. And these kind of rules that make Iranian people that don't want to hurt just a little bit of I don't know, somehow they don't want to hurt tourists, because they know it's gonna be it has consequences. And these are, I think, some of the reasons, but yeah, I think these two reasons are the most important. But there are some other things that we can talk about, but I think they are not that important. But it is safe. As I lived here, I can tell you this.
Yes, and in general, people will be friendly towards tourists, like even though there are these laws that you are talking about, but most of the people will be friendly towards tourists, no matter if there's a law that
exactly, because maybe they like tourists, they love it when they see, for example, some people from other countries are here. They want to give the tourists this feeling that you're welcomed here. You're as our brothers. You can stay as long as you want, and they are so excited. I can say that they are so excited because the people in here are mostly look alike. For example, you can not find a blonde girl here originally. When they see a blonde guy or girl, they are excited. I don't know how to say it. It's some kind of new experiment for them. They wanna talk to them. They want to be friends with them, and somehow, as you said, they are so friendly to foreigners.
Yes. Okay. Let's go back to January, and at the beginning of 2020, we had a big thing that happened. So U.S. military have killed General Soleimani in Baghdad, I think,
Yes.
or somewhere else in Iraq, but I think it has been in Baghdad. So everyone has heard of that. But what can you tell us as someone from Iran? What can you tell us about General Soleimani? Was he a good guy? Was he loved in Iran? Or was he a terrorist like Donald Trump said?
Let me just get back to the night of, this happened. Actually, when the news was established and it was published in, channels and everywhere on the internet, it was about 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I think, in the morning, and everybody normally were asleep. A few people just find out about that, and personally, I was awake and I saw that on Instagram. There was a post, I don't know, I'm not sure, but that was how it happened. And after that, let's just get back to who really that guy was. General Soleimani was a head commander in Iran, and he was just as normal as any other commanders. Like we have, I believe, 17 commanders, I think, in Iran. Some of them are dead, but some of them are still alive, and they are ministers of defense, and they have higher placements in the system. But what really made him very special, that guy actually he came from a small village, actually in my city. That is, I think, called Rabor, something like that. And he was, as a kid, he was a simple worker. He was not educated, and he wasn't interested in education at all. And when I was let's call him an adult, about 20 years old, like me, as a young guy, he joined the war. At that time there was a war between Iran and Iraq. Okay, at that time he was so brave. Because of that war he had so many operations, and I think after 2 or 3 operations he became the leader of some soldiers, although he was just a simple soldier. And let's just sum it up and say it in summary. He was in Iran a symbol. He was a symbol of bravery, a symbol of some people, some kind of person that he didn't like to be famous. He considered himself as a soldier. Okay, he said, I will stand against terrorism. I will stand against anything that threatens Iran. Okay, so the most important thing for him was to protect Iran. And of course, Iranians love such person that although he has sacrificed himself and risked his life so many times, but again, he is not afraid. He will do it again. So they liked his personality, okay? And before the night that he was assassinated, a year maybe ago, he stated a lot of things about terrorists. He said, I will destroy Daesh. I will make the US troops to get back from Syria, from Lebanon. And he made a lot of statements, but he didn't think about the consequences. And eventually he was dead. That's because he was so famous, and he had so many bravery things. That was, I think, the reason. And if he was a good guy or bad guy, to my opinion, I think, let's say, he was a good guy that he didn't like to be, the boss. He didn't like the money. His family still are alive, and they live in Kerman. Their home, I know where it is. People come and go, and they adore the family, that they live a simple life, although he was a head commander of a big army. And but about this, that was he really guilty? Because some people, as you know, said that he has killed about 2,000 people in Iraq, innocent people, 1,000 innocent Afghanian people, I don't know, so many, stuff that are related to terrorism. I'm not sure about them, but if he did that, I think he deserves that, assassination. But in general, some good points, some bad points, if he did that terrorism things, I think.
Yes, but Donald Trump said that they killed him because he was planning an attack on U.S. embassy in Iraq. So let's go back to the whole thing, and after a few weeks after his death, Iran has attacked U.S. base in Iraq. And basically they have hit empty buildings. I mean, obviously someone has told the Americans to leave the base. So are people in Iran satisfied with that response, or was that, in your opinion, like an immediate response just to calm the public, but the real response will come at some point in the future, or maybe that's it? The story is maybe finished. What's your opinion about this whole situation?
Let's say, how am I supposed to say? Nobody really knows that how this happened. That, like you said, why they shot a basement that is empty of people. If they really wanted to do something, why didn't they attack a bigger base or something like that? I think how to say, maybe they were negotiated, maybe they negotiated and didn't say it publicly in media, maybe because if Iran was really planning on doing something special, they would definitely do that. And about the people, I have to say that Iranian people, you should separate them to two groups. The first groups are the people who like the governments, who like Islamic situations, and all Iran is going about right now. They like it, but 50 other percent they don't. They are just against the regime, against the government. They don't like it, and that the first 50%. After shutting that missile to U.S. basements, of course, they were happy. Oh, we are going to destroy. And that night, these kind of guys, these 50%, they were they were on Twitter and Instagram. They were just writing, sending posts and hashtag using hashtag like World War III, we will destroy America after this. These were so funny to me because these kind of guys are so carried away. They just think that Iran is that powerful and we are the best, and as I said, I am not actually a fan of General Soleimani. I like his attitudes and his way of thinking, but these people know, they love their leader. They want to always, say that U.S. is we will kill all the U.S. people, and those are so stupid people, I have to say. They were happy after that, but personally I thought that it would just rise the tensions, and maybe there will be some other let's say other small fights, wars maybe in the Iran, and I was worried actually, but this is how it went. All the people were worried, some were sad about this, but yeah, that's mostly what I have to say.
Yes, but luckily after that, that's like the end of the whole situation, and we don't know. Maybe in future Iran will have some kind of a real response, but as for now.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard that after this, that we shot the missiles. Iranian, defense system were activated. All the borders were activated, and there was a flight from Tehran to Ukraine, I think.
Yes.
And Iranian thought it's it's something from U.S. coming. It's like a bomb, like a missile. They tried to shut it down, but they killed about 179 innocent people on this situation, and it was raised tensions in Iran. In social media, they didn't care about U.S. anymore. They cared about those people that were killed.
Yes, I've heard about that. I mean, it was a big story at the time, and yeah, I still don't understand why they even tried to leave Iran. At that point, it was not safe to leave Iran, but they did
exactly.
it, and I don't know. You can blame Iran. You cannot. I mean, it's a strange situation, at least in my opinion. So let's go to the next question. So I think in one of his last interviews, I think that Muammar Gaddafi said something along the lines, we never thought that Al-Qaeda will come to Libya, but they came, and there was a war, and Muammar Gaddafi eventually got killed. So it was, for me, it was a bit of a naive thinking, when you have Al-Qaeda all over the Middle East, you do not think that Al-Qaeda will come to your country. So at this point we have some kind of a similar situation, and we have, if nothing else, we have war all over the Middle East. And do you think that war will eventually come to Iran? Or are you optimistic and think that everything can be settled peacefully? Because we know that that with the Iranian government, it's U.S. does not like Iranian government.
Yeah. Unlike our government, people, love America in general. I'm telling you, seriously, they love it because as I see. Off the record, I see that people, in Iran, even when they try to learn English, they try to learn, for example, American English instead of British English. Small things like that shows that we are actually not, hating America. But about saying that will a war come to Iran, I think, it is most likely impossible because Iran, secretly, or how to say, is spending, most of the income and most of its budget on military, and it is obvious. And Iran military is so strong, I'm telling you, that even my cousin, is serving right now. He's serving his military service, and a lot of soldiers, a lot of budget and money they are investing on military just for safety. And in media, our supreme leader or our president always says, he says that although we don't have a great currency, but we have safety. That's all they always say. But about this, I can say maybe there is no war, and I agree. It's impossible, almost impossible, that I think no war will come to Iran. But because of the situation about currency, and Iran's currency is just decreasing every and each day. And like 2 years ago, each dollar was about 3,000 2 months. Right now it's 18,000 2 months. In just 2 years, it's 6 times, I think, more than the price it had. And because of this, people are suffering from sanctions, from all kind of let's say their poverty and lack of money. Because they work here, for example, a simple worker gets for example for 1 month he gets $80, and that is ridiculous, and people cannot live with that. And if the situation of currency goes on, there won't be any electronics in Iran because we can't possibly buy them because of our currency. And Iran's I think all the money comes to Iran is based on the oil, and it plays a great role. And if the oil price decreases or our currency decreases, it will be a great local, some kind of revolution, maybe local war in Iran, because as I said, Iranians are two separate groups. Some like the current situation because they are making money and they have governmental jobs, but some don't. They have to work for the day to have money. Their situation is gonna be bad if it continues, and maybe a local war, and let's say inside of Iran, maybe something bad happens, but a war, I don't think so.
Okay, so basically you don't think that there will be any sort of intervention on Iran by any kind of, I don't know, by the US or I don't know, their allies.
Yeah, if I think the tensions are, for example, are so high, and again America do something stupid, or maybe I don't know, some fight starts with them, maybe it happens, but it is at the current situation I don't think so. But as I said, if anyone wants to attack Iran because of the military Iran has, it's gonna be a bad situation for them, I think.
Okay, let's go to more positive topics. At least I hope they will be more positive. So this is a question that I ask almost all of my guests, so I wanted to ask you too. Tell me, Omid, can our generation make this world a better place? What do you think?
That is a tough question for me, but can our generation? I think maybe it is possible, because today's life is more complicated than ever because of the advancement, the technology, and everything. The communications and the interactions are so different from like 500 years ago, and I think it is the time that actually we need that change, that people should be better, I mean, in any way they can, just when you're in streets, you're crossing, somebody's begging for money, I mean, you can help him any way you can, you can just help people with money, with love, with any way that you can help people and make them happy. I think it is a way of making our generation better.
Okay, great. That was a good answer. Tell me.
Thank you.
Again, we will talk about our generation. Tell me, what do you think is the cause of anxiety and depression that has been extremely common for our generation?
It is somehow related to last question, because I think anxiety is somehow, because the effects that especially we cannot consider ourselves teenagers, but we are somehow young still, but I think the most of it because of the older generations, that they have some false expectations. I don't know, like they want us to be educated, to do great at school, to do everything perfectly. And when we look at each other, maybe somebody has some different talent, and this is the way that some people get stressed more. They are depressed, they don't want to see anybody, they feel that way. I think it's mostly because of false expectations.
Yes, and you mentioned earlier in your previous answer that the technology is more advanced than ever, and basically we are the first generations that are living in this sort of, I don't know how to say, world. But so maybe there's a big difference between older generations and newer generations. So maybe that's basically what you said.
Yeah, everything is, more tends to be virtual, and we kind of, everything we want, we can just access it by our phones, by our phones and internet, and we don't have to go outside, see the real world, and it is somehow affects and have bad impacts on different people, I think.
Okay, so Omid, let's go with the last question for today. Can you tell me, is it common for people in Iran to have a tattoo, and are you planning to get a tattoo someday? Because in this show we have a guest that's getting a tattoo, and I interviewed them. So are you planning to get a tattoo, and is it common for people in Iran?
In recent years, in the past there were some rules about this, that because when you want to say your prayers, saying your namaz, it's a principle in saying your prayers, and every Muslim should do it, and you should not have tattoo from your elbow to your tip of hand, okay? And if you have it on there, or your face or neck, you couldn't pray actually to God, and definitely that would be some problem for you. They wouldn't give you the, I think, driving license. They wouldn't let you enter universities, and let's say there were some other banned rules that you shouldn't have a tattoo. But fortunately, in recent years, I think 10 years ago, it changed, and you can commonly have a tattoo, and doesn't matter which color it is, which part of your body you have tattooed, and fortunately it's a good news. And after this, in recent year, a lot of people are getting a tattoo, and there are some good tattoo artists in Iran, especially in Tehran. And about myself, I definitely like tattoos, and what I have in mind, my name is Omid, and in Persian it means hope, and hope is a term that I really like, so I would like to maybe tattoo it on my hand or something, somewhere, like maybe one day.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Omid, again, thank you for joining me today, and I hope next time you will come here to get that tattoo, and we will interview you in person.
Sure.
Okay, that's it for today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a real, good chat, and it was a pleasure for me to be on your show. Hope to see you again.